Hey, 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗱𝗶𝘁𝘆 here. I want to welcome you to the 𝗟𝗔 journey where we're going to sit there and go in a year, January 1st to January or to December 31st, forming a government contracting business in the federal market, selling to federal agencies. And I will demonstrate the process to do that completely transparently the whole way, showing you at the very end how I got to making $1 million in revenue in 12 months. The reason I do this is because I really want you to understand that if you follow the process, you will achieve the goals you're trying to reach. As long as your goals are realistic, you're not trying to build a $1 billion company in one day or something. But as long as you have realistic goals and you have a clear, focused offer, and I help you early on. I'll talk about this in a second, but I help you kind of niche that down. But as long as you got something to sell that somebody wants, you can build a business. It's the process to get to that stage. And so there's all sorts of people like me who sit there and tell you what to do. I even get really deep into how to do it. There's some people that do that. This is just another level of me showing you the training, but I'm going to show it to you less the training and more about here is me doing it actually. You know, there's a thing, you know, walk the talk, and the other one is eat your own dog food. It's two of my favorite phrases, but what I'm demonstrating is, look, I will start yet again another company. If you don't know who I am, I'm 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗱𝗏, president of GovCon Chamber of Commerce, co-founder of GovCon in a Box. And I spent 20 years as a small business owner. I started and grew two different government contracting businesses. After I got out of the Army, I started my first one. It was in network engineering. And then I started my second one, and that one was in Microsoft SharePoint Play. By the way, I got an earache, so I'm not feeling too good, but I'm committed to coming back every day. So if I'm a little distracted, that's why. By the way, just to share a lesson, because you know we're in this environment, it just makes sense for me to say this. I made all, you know how you set those kind of goals if you're young, you set this goal of, hey, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be making this much money. I did that after I came out of the Army. I did that and then sold my company and lost all my money in an internet play. And it was when I realized, ooh, stay in your own swim lane. And fortunately, I was dating my now wife, 𝗟𝗔𝗀𝗃𝗃, who the company is named after. And right when we hit this situation, she's like, well, you did it once, you'll do it again. I was like, all right, thanks. And so I got back into government contracting where I belonged in this space, and I built up another company and was able to sell that. Since 2018, I teach that government contracting is not a secret, it's just a process. Now, I still do that, and I still do all this other stuff, but 1 hour a day, I'm going to come back to you, or not 1 hour a day for you, but 1 hour a day, I'm going to build 𝗟𝗔𝗀𝗃𝗃 so that it gets to $1 million. I really want you to understand that if you're committed to working hard, right? Don't do 1 hour a day. I got 30 years of experience that backs up my 1 hour. Humbly, I can do in 1 hour what most people do in 40 hours or 80 hours, right? I just know where to look. That's not bragging. That's experience. Anybody who's got 30 years experience being a mechanic on a car can fix a car in 1 hour. That would take me 80. You know, people are like, what are you doing? Remodeling the car? No, I'm changing the oil. It just is taking 2 weeks because I'm trying to figure out how to get in there. But a person who's an experienced person, they'll get in and do it. That's the difference between experience and professionalism and not. So I like to tell my kids, I got 11-year-old sons. I like to say, everybody sucks in the beginning, right? We all suck in the beginning. And then we practice. We learn the skill. We practice the skill. We get experience, and the experience builds on itself. And we no longer suck, right? For them, it's about video games, and they can't beat a video game or something. I'm like, just keep practicing. You'll be able to do it. And for us, it's starting a business and knowing how to do sales or doing any of this stuff. You're at a certain inexperienced stage, perhaps, and you're going to go here. Or maybe you're experienced, and the part you're really going to like for me is when I start showing you how I just do sales. Anyways, 3 things I want to cover today. It's funny. I was not feeling like doing this video. My ear hurts. It's bad earache, but I get energy because you're here with me. I like looking at you, even though I'm not really looking at you. I do a pretty good job walking right into the mode. So thanks for making me feel better so I can come through. All right, so 3 things I wanted to share with you today. The first thing is I just wanted to occasionally, even for my own benefit, just keep backing up and reminding myself of the process I've been teaching you, because this is something I really want to streamline very tightly. I've been teaching the process a long time, but very tightly teach this. So there's so far, we're in day 17, I think. Today is January 17th. By the way, if you're one of those people who has to sit there and comment about something and doubt stuff, I literally had a technical error, and one of my technical providers tools showed its logo on my YouTube and LinkedIn videos, etc. And somebody was like, hey, there's that logo. Are you guys actually live? I'm like, well, I am, but who cares? The content is valuable. But the second thing is, if you're saying, hey, are you wearing the same shirt? Did you just record 2 videos? No, I literally was rushing to a meeting and I just said, you know what, it's a clean shirt. Let's do it. So let's relax and have fun with the process. All right. So the 6 steps I've done in the 16 days, and this is just loose grouping, but very first step is determining what I sell. The second thing, who buys it, right? So what do I sell? Who buys it? Who's winning it is the third step. The fourth one I put down was, how is it being bought? And that's when I went in, if you've been following along, to really dig into, okay, NAICS codes and PSCs, and you can go watch the videos on that. And then I'm like, okay, I feel good enough that I know what I want to sell and I know who's buying it. I'm going to come back to each one of those steps and keep refining them as I go along. So it's not like I finished them in 30 minutes, but I got a good solid understanding that what I want to sell, the government is buying and people are winning. That's all I needed to really do. So step 5 is when I started moving into, okay, I'm ready to form a company because I need to get into SAM and all this other stuff. So I'm forming an LLC. That's still kind of, actually, if I give you a quick update on that, well, really quick. And then step 6 was starting the marketing assets. And so that was a capability statement I started doing in my logo. You'll see me do more of that in the coming days. If I give you an update on starting an LLC, just for those who are watching, so I got a notice back. They're like, hey, everything's good to go. Sign these documents and we'll send it off to the IRS. So I'm expecting that'll be turned around on Tuesday or Wednesday. I like how sometimes I hear people complain about, oh, it's a lot of time or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but it literally took me like 15 minutes of my life. It's taking everybody else time to do whatever they're doing, and it might take a week or 2 to turn around, but it wasn't like I was actually working every second of those 2 weeks. So the time commitment to starting a company is like 15 minutes, maximum 30 minutes or something. They don't ask a lot of questions. All right, so that's the process. I just wanted to be able to do that. Second thing I wanted to do today was just give you an update on the company. So I signed my documents. I'm waiting on that. Third thing I wanted to do today, and it's funny, I always start off hoping these are short videos for you, and they end up being like 20 or 30 minutes or something, but it doesn't matter. Really riveting stuff I provide. All right, the thing I wanted to tell you was, if you really want to build a business and you're going into it, even though this is something I'm kind of doing on the side, only 1 hour a day as I do all my day-to-day activity, right? You can't stop thinking about it, and especially the people like me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. And so you're always got ideas. You're noodling it around. It's not like your business is interfering with your life. Your life is interfering with your business to a degree. Somebody's like, hey, you want to go to a movie? I don't know. I could sit there and do this and this. So true entrepreneurs really like being in their business and doing it. And so the reason I say this is because in the past few days, well, yesterday and today in particular, I was really starting to brainstorm around, just because the idea popped into my head while I was doing something else. I was like, oh, let me write it down. And by the way, I want you to pay attention to when things pop into your mind and I carry these notepads, GovCon chamber. I might get a whole bunch called Nancy Gov or something to hand them out. Or maybe the GovCon chamber, because I got like 50 of them, or maybe I got a couple of hundred of them. I thought it was a good idea at the time, and I still do. Anyways, get a notepad so you write them down. But the idea that popped in is I was thinking about, what am I selling? And this was just a moment of thought around so I'm going to sell LinkedIn engagement services, whatever that means, but I've got a pretty good idea what that means. But LinkedIn engagement services. And so what I was thinking around is, well, what's the money I'm going to be making? And so it's definitely going to be some sort of high level sale. I think I'm going to try to have my sale somewhere in that $60,000 to $120,000 range. So if I'm going into an agency, I'm trying to get 60 or 100,000, 120,000 out of them. So basically 5 to 10K retainer a month with them. And I can see myself being able to streamline, have people who do some of that work, give them value, et cetera. We'll learn more about that later as I do it. But so that's what I'm looking at, because I'm trying to get to $1 million. So then I'm looking at 10 to 20 customers at that level will put me at a $1 million, what we call ARR, annual recurring revenue, which means it's not just a contract fixed price, but it goes into the next year and the next year, hopefully. So anyways, that's where I want to go. And I'm going to try to subcontract under people who have existing contracts with my ideal customer. I'll try to bring that in, and I'll talk more about that. But the thread that I pulled back, though, was, okay, I'm going to sell this bigger ticket sale, but they don't really know me. Certainly aren't going to know 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝗂 because I'm trying to keep it in the blind. How do I introduce myself in? And I'm like, well, maybe there's these levels of things I could do. And so I backed up, and I'm like, and so I'm backing all the way up to this, starting with free and getting to this other level. Actually, let me jump to the other end. So I want a $120,000 customer. If I get 10 of those or 9 of those, something, whatever the math is, right? I'll get $1 million in revenue and demonstrate to you. So in order to get those, though, if I go back to the beginning, the path I think I'm going to follow, and again, I'm just being really transparent here, so somebody could steal the business from me if they wanted, but good luck. I'm really good at what I do. And by the way, feel free, because there is more than enough business out there. I want 10 federal agency customers out of a minimum of 400 agencies. Have at it. Let's all build the same business. Don't build your own business. Okay, so what I thought was, though, I would do a free webinar, and the webinar is designed to attract the federal buyers I'm going to try to reach, but a free webinar that shows them how to make some changes and do what they're doing. So I might provide first a marketing sheet that is, hey, here's 5 quick tips you can do on your own. If you're interested for a free masterclass, is what we kind of call it. If you're interested in free masterclass, after the 5 tips, sign up for this. And now I got their email, and I want that information. Excuse me. I want to start building my own contact information. I want them to give me their email so I can email them back, and I will restrict it. You can only be part of this masterclass if 2 things. One is you have a .gov email. If you're not willing to give that to me, then I don't want to work with you. If you're trying to hide from the agency or whatever, it's not worth my time. There's people out there who will buy what I'm selling. Those are the people I want to find. If somebody in the government's using a Gmail account, no, it's too much work for me to convince you to move forward. And I'll talk a lot more about that as I talk to you about sales. So here's a free checklist. If you're interested in a free masterclass, here it is. Oh, and I was saying 2 things you need to give me. One is you have to give me a .gov email or .mil or whatever. And the second thing is you have to be a government employee, so military or civilian, but you can't be a contractor who's got a .gov. I'm not here to sit there and give you something. And so there's that. All right. So now I just took them from a checklist. I took them to a free masterclass. And in the masterclass, I'm going to sit there and say, hey, if you get value from that, like I'm just giving you some tactics, but I will say in the beginning of some sort, if you get value from this, I'm going to give you tactical stuff we can do together in this masterclass. But at the end, I'd love for you to be able to consider, a product I'm offering. And there, instead of the 120, what I'll probably do is jump and try to do a micro purchase type thing. So if the masterclass is free and it's designed around something of real value, but not a ton of stuff, but something of solid value, then the purchase, let's say it sits in that $3,500 range, $3,400 range. That'll make me money, which is perfect. It'll give me something to do. It'll pay for my logo. That thing cost me $14. So I'll be moving to that direction, going, okay, here's a bigger offer for you. And I'll try to make that offer be something that can be done in 30 days. Like I want them to pay me, $3,500 or so for something that can be done in 30 days that can demonstrate clear value to them as I'm working my way to the path of selling them a $60,000 to $100,000, $120,000 service, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you because keep in mind, your mind works wonders. And if you've got a pretty good idea that you like cybersecurity or facility cleaning toilets and other stuff, whatever the business is, doesn't matter. If you've got it, start thinking about ideas not just thinking about ideas. Yes, I want you to brainstorm and come up with stuff, but that's conscious thinking. I want you to just listen to your mind, which occasionally you're going to be out somewhere like you're going to look at it. I don't know, maybe you go to a 5-star restaurant or a hotel, or you sneak into a 5-star hotel because you're out walking around or whatever, and you notice the something in there, and it's going to make you go, man, I could bring that kind of thinking. Your mind will go, I could bring that kind of stuff to the government, but we could keep it at a really low cost, but really they value it. Your mind's going to say this, and so you need to write it down. Let me see if I got this one. I got so many things. Like here's one called Joke come on, couple more seconds. Oh, I don't know where it's at, which is really an embarrassing thing to say. But this one here, you can see like I have course ideas. Anytime I got things I'm thinking about for the LinkedIn Lives or whatever. But my point is I have something called a joke book. I literally wrote joke book, and I got this idea from Jerry Seinfeld, or I just learned it through stories about him. But Jerry Seinfeld, especially when he was coming up, and probably to a degree now, but in particular when he was coming up, he would have these jokes. He'd write them on cards, and then he would go to the local comedy shop or bar or whatever and tell jokes. And when people would laugh, he put it in one side of his pocket, and when people didn't laugh, he's like, oh, either throw it away or put it in the other pocket to rewrite. But what he would do is take these jokes that people laughed at, and he's like, okay, those are funny. I'm going to tell them again. And he wrote them into his joke book. So he built this list of jokes. And for me, for a business person, what I'm trying to write down are ideas or stories or quotes that relate to what I sell. And so you might have something similar as it relates to your business. Start thinking that way, because when you're engaging with people, et cetera, you can't just walk in and be all boring or something. You don't have to be whatever you think of me, right? I grew up in a house with 12 people, 2 parents, 10 kids, right? In the 13-year age span with those 10 kids, all 12 of us were in there running around. There's a reason I interrupt. I'm the youngest of my family. My twin brother and I are, right? And if you didn't interrupt, you never got a shot to talk. And so if you didn't stick to your guns, and that's how I am from my experience. But we could all be engaging with the customers, no matter what our personalities are like, by having these joke books that we're writing things down. So like I was saying, when you're walking through a hotel or something, you get an idea, you're taking a shower. When you get out, that idea is still fresh. Don't go off somewhere else. Write that thing down as soon as you can. When you do that, you're going to really start having some good ideas like what I just did. I feel like I just laid out the entire path of how I'm going to make money to get to $1 million, because I'm like, oh, I promised them I'm going to show them how to get to $1 million. And I didn't pre-plan this. It's not like I did some calculated pre-planning. I'm showing you how I'm figuring it out as I go along. And literally, it took me 15 minutes to hit a whiteboard and go, this and this and that, right? And then when my brain ran out of thoughts, I just stopped. I'm like, took a picture of it, put it in my phone. I'm like, all right, I'll come back to it. So hopefully you found that valuable. As we keep going, if you got questions, let me know. I did appreciate how a lot of you had sent emails to Nancy Co. I said send emails to Nancy at 𝗟𝗶හි𝗸𝗃𝗀.com because you're helping me warm up my email address. I think that's awesome. If you have a new email that you're using, feel free to shoot me an email at Nancy@𝗟𝗶hi𝗸𝗃𝗀.com. You'll find the email somewhere. And I'm happy to reply, because when I reply, your email is also validated. And this is really important, because when you try to sell into large companies or federal primes, they've got spam blockers. And now, because you're responding to my emails, my email, Nancy Co. email is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's really cool. Okay, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate that because you're engaging with my content, it pushes me to come back every day, even when I got an earache. My earache is gone. I'm feeling energetic, and I was already committed to stopping working. So now I can stop working and feel good. All right, I will see you tomorrow, because I record every day, Saturday the 18th. Have a good day.